Konnichiwa Disc Golf fans, and welcome to Disc Channel's coverage of third round lead card MPO of the 20th Kiyosatonomori Open. My name is Rob Rowland, Innova Ambassador, and I will be your play-by-play here from beautiful and scenic Yamanashi Prefecture in southeastern Japan. Thank you so much to all of the tournament sponsors who make both the tournament and the coverage possible. We couldn't do it without you. Through 2 rounds, your MPO tournament leader is Tetsuya T2 Kikuchi at 12 under. In second place is Somiura at 11 under. Kazumasa Fujiwara is in third at 10 under, and Kenta Nagaoka is at 9 under. The first 2 rounds had relatively favorable conditions, and in the third round, we're seeing quite a bit more wind. Let's get right into the action. Hole 1. Par 3, 75 meter 246, left to right turning shot, stalling forehand if you got it. A turning backhand works as well, but this guarded green does not have a friendly entrance. Also, very skippy grass as well. You want to try to land something softly near the basket no matter what you're doing, but you do have a ceiling to contend with, and the wind was certainly ripping this day. First on the tee is your leader, Kikuchi Tetsuya, who will be going with a standstill forehand. We have our player cam set up in front of the tee, so you're going to hear the discs ripping past the camera as T2 runs into a tree just short of the green. He'll be in circle 1 for a putt. Next on the tee is Somiura, who is also going with a standstill forehand. He looks a bit early and a bit high, catches the ceiling, and comes to rest in circle 2. Those stakes are not OB. Next up is Kazumasa Fujiwara, usually behind the camera for Disc Channel, this time in front of the camera on lean card. A man of many talents with a beautiful forehand. That's the line. Buzzes past the basket. It looks like he's in that hedge behind the basket. Hopefully it won't obstruct his putt too much. And fourth on the card is Kenta Nagaoka. For those of you who watched our Tokyo Open coverage, you may recognize him and his beautiful buttery backhand. He's showing us that backhand line and proving that trees are mostly air. He gets all the way to the green. So with a circle 2 look, it's a very nice layup. T2 with awkward footing and a tree in the way for his birdie putt. High and left side. These baskets do not like to catch high. These baskets were made by Innova Japan a number of years ago, single chain and very wide at the top, but they don't have a hinge attaching the chains to the basket canopy and thus tend to reject things that hit high. Kazumasa has a very awkward straddle out to his weak side, but a very nice bid. Hopefully that doesn't roll too far away. Kenta Nagaoka with the lone birdie on the card. Very nice cleanup there. Kazumasa with a comebacker. Japanese players don't often play with cameras in their faces, and of course, he's no stranger to the camera, but usually behind it. Hopefully, it doesn't add any undue pressure. Very nice cleanup. He's in for par. In round 3, hole 1 played 0.18 strokes over par, 9% of the field. That is 1 player out of 11. There was 1 birdie, and you just saw it. 73% parred, 18% bogeyed, and 9% double bogey or worse. So a little note about our leader, Tetsuya T2 Kikuchi. Why does he have T2 in his name? Well, about 20 years ago when he met Ken Climo for the first time here in Japan, he was introducing himself as Tetsuya, and Kenny just couldn't catch the pronunciation of his name. Tetsuya, Tetsuya, which Kenny chopped down to T2, which is a name that has stuck for all of these years. On to hole 2, par 3, 230 foot, 70 meter. Dead straight shot. You have OB that snakes, there's an OB river that snakes on the right side into the center of the fairway, and a mandatory about halfway down the fairway that forces players to the right. Kenta has the box. A good line, caught a tree just before the basket, but he should have a putt for birdie. Any discs that miss the mandatory proceed to a drop zone, which is that yellow triangle you see in the center of the screen now. T2 throwing something dead straight with a little bit of turn. The best putt is no putt. He will have a very short tap in for his birdie. So also showing us the backhand. Very similar line to T2, but a bit further to the left. He's on the dance floor. Kazumasa is going to show us the forehand line. Kazumasa is a baseball player. He plays in a local municipal league and has a booming forehand. With great control as well. Great touch will put him right under the basket for his birdie. Kenta's got a long putt for his birdie with a shrub in the way. But his high-ring putt made short work of that one. Very nice. Kenta is 2 under through 2 and is only 1 back of our leader. We'll soon be 2 back of our leader. So fails to convert on the strong side from just inside circle 1. He'll be getting a par. T2 made short work of that birdie. Kazumasa as well, as so cleans up his par. Hole 2 played 0.09 strokes under par with 36% of the field birdieing it, 45% with a par, and 18% at bogey or worse. Through 2, T2 is still your leader at 13 down, and we have a log jam. So Kazumasa and Kenta all at 11 under. Moving on to hole 3. 259 foot, 79 meter. You have OB all along the left side to start, but then this river snakes around to the right and then back to the left just now. That river is OB the whole way. You also have OB that tucks in just to the right of the basket as well. Kind of a peninsula green, or an isthmus green, if you will. Quite a challenge. If you hit early, drives are bound to go out of bounds, so you really want to be as straight as possible. Kenta shows us the standstill, very effective. Appears to be a bit of a tailwind. But not too strong here in the woods. T2 has an early release, which kicks OB. That is unfortunate. A lot of trees on this course. This is a temporary course layout here. I believe there are some permanent baskets on the property, but it is a very cramped property. And in order to get 18 holes, we have to make liberal use of both OB mandatories and the word for, because discs are very frequently finding airspace close to tees. Kazumasa shows us a sort of a helicopter shot that also plops onto the green. Very well executed. So had a low shot, very similar line to T2, which has also kicked OB. As So leans out for his forehand approach. Little known fact about Japan, the entire population lives on just over 20% of the land. Around 77 to 78% of the land is uninhabited mountains and forests. So if the courses aren't on open land, which has been developed for human use, they are generally deep in the woods like this one, because those are the only two types of terrain that we have. T2 takes his meter and straddles out for his approach. Very nice approach. No problem for the bogey. Kazumasa at about 8 meters for his birdie putt. Just enough hyzer that when it hit the stiff chains at the top, it shot straight down to the bottom. You see him checking the top of the basket there. He's just as surprised as I am that that went in, but I'm glad that that caught. Very nice birdie, Kazumasa. Kenta taking his time with his putt. 3 down through 3 is just the kind of start that you want. As T2 and So clean up their bogeys. Through 3 holes, Kazumasa has now tied T2 for the lead at 12 under, along with Kenta Nagaoka also at 12 under. Hole 4, par 3, 57 meter, 187 foot. The road that you're looking at now is safe to a point, right where this line is, and then the road is OB. To the left of the road is OB off the tee. Anything that kicks to the left is basically OB, no matter what. This is a challenging shot. You want to go for the forehand here, something that maybe skips off the road, but it has to skip late. If you get an early skip and you knock into a tree, it's likely to careen back to the left in OB. Kenta got through the wood line. He probably won't have a birdie putt, but that should be good for par. At only 57 meters, with a theoretically concrete landing zone, it is very difficult to control your distance here. Kazumasa skips near the base of the basket and will have a long birdie putt, but he's gotten through the OB with no problem. T2 with a low, humming forehand that skips off the road and takes him about 15, 17 meters long of the basket. Please pardon the bells in the background here. I'm recording from my office on a university grounds, and class has just ended. So kicks off of the tree, but it looks like he's short of that OB line. He's on the road, but that is a safe part of the road. He will have a tough layup, but a layup for par. Well executed. Kenta hidden behind the trees. I thought we were about to see another towering hyzer drained, but we'll call that one a layup for par. T2 with a nice effort from circle 2. Looks like there was a bit of tailwind that just dropped the disc. We'll be right behind the basket here from where Kazumasa is standing. But a very good attempt. If you're going to miss, the miss is low. That sits. He should have no problem cleaning up his par. This is So's par putt. Kenta flips in his par. Kazumasa in for his par. And T2 for his par. A whole lot of pars was pretty much the story of this hole for all of round 3. Hole 4 had 91% pars and 1% bogeys. T2 and Kenta are still your tournament leaders at 12 under. As we move on to hole 5, 89 meter, 292 foot. Dead straight shot at the basket. Hole 5 has OB to the left and deep of the basket, but it should not come into play. Really, the trees in the left and the right are the only things you need to watch out for on this tee shot. Kenta shows us the straight to hyzer line, but there is a group of low trees just short of the basket, and it looks like he got hung up in them. Getting the height to carry the trees, but having the speed control to sit near the basket is certainly a challenge. Kazumasa with a similar line that similarly gets pushed down by the wind and similarly gets caught up in that group of trees just short of the basket. Let's see if T2 can correct. T2 a bit higher and wider. And it looks like he made it over the group of trees that caught our other two golfers. But we shall see. So is also lining up the backhand line. Higher with a bit more power. As long as that gets through, that should be good. He is on the dance floor. Kazumasa did get hung up behind these trees, trying to put a very sharp angle touchy layup onto the green, which he does. It is a very nice scramble. Kenta looks like he has much less than Kazumasa did, even though he's only about 2 meters away from where Kazumasa's shot landed. Unfortunate to get hung up in that second set of shrubs. T2 with a nice straddle attempt. A bit too much Anheuser perhaps, but that was a good putt. Rolled a bit. Hopefully it doesn't hinder his par chance here. These baskets do not like to catch high. Kenta considering throwing the scuba over the top, but instead goes for a turbo putt out to the right here. I wonder how often he practices these. A very good attempt, but he falls just short. Unfortunately, he'll get a bogey. So is happy to be getting at least one and in some cases 2 strokes on his card mates here. Very nice birdie. As T2 cleans up his bogey. Kazumasa cleans up his par, and Kenta cleans up his bogey as well. Hole 5 was a tough one. Only 18% of the field, 2 players birdied this hole. 64% parred and 18% bogeyed. Nice weak side catch there for So. Your standalone tournament leader is Kazumasa Fujiwara at 12 under, with a logjam beneath him, with Kenta, So, and T2 at 11 under. Moving on to hole 6. 148 meter, 486 foot par 4. Hole 6 is a 2-shot hole for the majority of the field here. You want to put out something that hyzers and lands to the left to give you a good lands to the right, sorry, that lands with a good angle to approach the green. There is an open area about 80 to 90 meters off the tee to the right-hand side. That's where the players are going to be wanting to land. Anything that gets a little bit too far left is risking OB, as there is a OB river that kind of snakes through this part of the course. We saw this OB on holes 2 and 3 as well. So is going for that right side hyzer line. Anything to the right of those trees is a good start.
Yep.
And depending on what he has in his face, he should have a good look at the green as long as the trees aren't too dense right in front of him. Kazumasa is going to show us the forehand line. The forehand line is risky. If it turns over, it could turn out of bounds over the OB creek. Big run up, a little bit nose up, but it looks like he made his way to the ideal landing zone. Very nice forehand. His card mates sort of razzing him for his spectacular high forehand. Kenta with a low-driven hyzer that appears to have landed in the open. He won't have an ideal angle to the goal from there, but he should have something. T2 with a similar line to Kenta, but a bit higher. That's just about as good as you can drive it on this hole. If you try to bite off any more than that, you're going to be a lot closer to the tree line than you need to be. Kenta with an early release that has gotten eaten up by the trees. Lucky it did. If it had gone through the trees, that might have been OB over that snaking creek. T2 has a look at the basket from here. A little bit of tree love puts him on the dance floor. It's a very nice approach. Kazumasa with a very risky line over OB the whole way, but he executes well, gets through the trees, and he's just at the edge of circle 1, maybe just outside. So with the shortest drive of the group, had probably the best look at the basket. He looks like he's gone a bit further to the right than he would have liked. Probably about 13 meters away for a circle 2 birdie look. Kenta looking skyward. And very good execution. He's in circle 1 to clean up his par. This is So's birdie putt. A very nice run at it. Fades just a bit early. He should be able to clean up his par with no problem. Kazumasa taking his time here. He would love to get this stroke on his card mates. decent bit, but he has airballed it to the right. Kenta with a heroic effort to get onto the green, but cannot convert with his par save. He'll be taking a bogey. T2 with a nice birdie. Kazumasa cleans up his par. Single chain baskets always get the heart pumping. So cleans up his par as well. As Kenta drops in his bogey. Hole 6 played 0.09 strokes under par. Almost straight to par. It was birdied by 27% of the field, 55% parred, and 18% bogeyed through 6 holes. We're tied at the top. Kazumasa and T2 are at 12 under with So and Kenta. So at 11 under and Kenta at 10 under. On to hole 7, par 3, 66 meter, 217 foot, dead straight shot of the basket with a double mandatory right here that you have to get through in order to get onto the basket. Those white stakes behind the basket are not OB. Hole 14's fairway is behind the basket, but it is not OB. The only danger here is the mandatory. Any mandatory misses will go to the drop zone. T2 with a very good looking shot that got some tailwind that dropped him straight into the bushes. I would imagine because of the trees behind them, they're not feeling the tailwind. So looked up into the sky and thought about how the tailwind was going to affect his shot here. Let's see if that wind read helps him. Not enough Anheuser, and he has missed the mandatory. Card mates talking about how they have no idea what's going on with the wind. You can see none of the shrubbery or leaves are moving where they are standing, but it is definitely affecting their discs down the fairway. Kazumasa elects for a higher hyzer, which has hyzered out before the mandatory. He has missed the mandatory as well. Kenta low and driven. He is short of the mandatory, but behind that shrub line. We'll see what kind of look he has at the basket. T2 has a straddle out, but he does have a straight shot at the basket here. Nice layup. The drop zone is off to the left of center here, which is good for right-handed putters. But a left-handed putter like myself would have quite a challenge here. Both So and Kazumasa unable to convert from the drop zone. Kenta lays up for his par. So's in for bogey. Kazumasa in for bogey. You can hear 444 being called all over the course here. Like I said, there are a lot of fairways that are very close to each other. You have to keep your head on a swivel out here. Luckily, our players are eager to communicate when their drives go awry through 7 holes. T2 is your leader at 12 under, Kazumasa at 11 under, and So and Kenta at 10 under. Hole 7 played .36 strokes over par, 9% of the hole birdieing, 45% parring, and 45% bogeying. On to hole 8. This is the signature hole on this course, a 135 meter, 443 foot par 3, a downhill shot at the lake. There is OB behind the basket, this natural OB, the water, but otherwise there is really nothing to the left and right to... I apologize, there is a... No, there's nothing to worry about here. This is a dead straight shot right at the basket. T2 with great snap on that shot. Good ground play. He scoots into circle 1. 7 or 8 meter putt for his birdie. Kenta with a similar line. It finishes even closer to the basket. You can see the mountains in the background behind So here. Yamanashi is certainly mountain country. Some of the most delicious mountain fruit in the country comes from this area. Grapes are particularly famous here. Great wine in Yamanashi, if you're ever looking for some good Japanese wines. So's drive has come up short. Kazumasa also electing to the backhand. Another good line. Very soft landing here. Very close to hole 14's tee. In deep circle 2. So with a nice layup to one of our permanent baskets on this course. If you're ever in this area of Japan, I highly recommend that you come and you check out this course. This land is gorgeous. Look at the snow on the mountains in the background there. A very nice attempt by Kazumasa. Kenta with a safe bid, and T2 with the card's last chance at birdie. Very nice putt. As T2 puts home the only birdie on the card and only one of only 2 birdies on the round for our MPO division. 18% of the field birdied, 64% of the field parred, and 18% bogey or worse. We did have at least one double bogey or more on this hole. We take another look at T2's flutter putt. He purposefully flutters the putt to counteract the wind, or so he has told me. T2 is your leader at 13 under, Kazumasa at 11 under, and So and Kenta tied up at 10 under as we move to our final hole on the front 9. Hole 9, 92 meter, 302 foot par 4. You might be saying, well, as the camera is showing you now, the fairway extends about 60 meters or so before it takes an 180-degree turn back towards the basket. The basket is actually roughly halfway down the fairway to the right, but there is a mandatory that the players must go around clockwise at the end of this tree line that is in the center of the hole. T2 is going to show us the backhand turnover line here. Plenty of space out to the left. Absolutely gorgeous weather here today. Early May in southeast Japan, before the rainy season. That is a very nice shot from Kenta. He will have a very simple approach to the green from there. So going for the forehand line, that is early. But there's a lot of space between those trees. He's lucky to catch one of those trees and kick left. Hopefully he got enough distance up the fairway that he can make it around the clothespin and have an approach to the basket. No surprise, Kazumasa is also going to the forehand here. With his distance, he should have no problem with this booming hyzer getting around the mandatory. See the mandatory arrow on that tree there, as So does have an approach to the basket. He flicks a putter up onto the dance floor. T2 letting a fellow player know that he is throwing the disc in that direction, just keeping him aware. Hits a tree. I'm not sure how far away that was from the basket, but it's likely in circle 2. Kazumasa with a nice forehand hyzer, a little bit of an unfriendly roll out towards the edge of the circle, but he'll have a birdie putt. Kenta paradoxically with our shortest drive, but is closest to the pin. Ooh, almost showing us a holy shot line. Just sailing wide of the basket. He'll be at the edge of circle 1 for his birdie putt. So showing nice touch on his jump putt approach. T2 does have a look here. Not quite enough height, right on the pole. Just a bit low. Very nice birdie from Kazumasa. He was the only MPO player to birdie this hole. However, congratulations to Wei Li Chang, who eagled this hole with a throw-in. As our players clean up their card. 55% of the field parred this hole in 18% bogey, 9% double bogey or worse. Quite a challenging hole. Thank you so much to the Disc Channel founders for your financial support. Without your help, we would not be able to bring you this coverage tournament after tournament. If you're interested in becoming a member of our Founders Club, check us out on YouTube. Founders Club subscriptions are available on YouTube. Thank you very much for joining us on the front 9 coverage of MPO Lead Card 3rd round. 20th Kiyosatonomori Open. We hope you will join us for the back 9 as well. Until then, this is Rob Rowland. I'll see you next time.